Donald Trump is not going to finish his term, which I said that months ago, and that JD Vance is going to be president of the United States. That's what I've been saying, and more people are even talking about it. Some people are betting on it. I'm not joking. It is now a thing you can bet on because they think it's such a guarantee that you can now bet on it now. Some guy bet 10 grand on it. I think maybe I should too. If I were you, I would tell you to, because I'm usually right, and I've been right a long time, and I'm ahead of the curve. Eventually, the numbers are going to get bad, so make some quick cash. Maybe that's not a bad idea. So I do think that it will not happen, and I do think that JD Vance is going to be the president of the United States, and I think other people are seeing it too, because you remember they were hammering him, and all of a sudden they're not so much. I'm going to show you that too. So it seems like so many of my shows recently are just I told you so shows, but I'm not sure if that's a good or a bad one, but we'll find out. I want to show you this one. It's interesting. This is a guy who's, let's see if I can find it here. Hold on. Let me see if I can figure this one out. This is some guy talking about his bet for Trump.
I made a bet with a friend of mine. I went to, I don't know if I mentioned this when I mentioned this to Doug McGregor when we were talking the other day privately. And me and some friends went to what's probably the best restaurant in the U.S. I guess it's the Fresh Laundry
in
San Francisco, patronized by the likes of Newsom. And
Stop.
The
Best
Washington,
restaurants for in New York
which
City.
is in the Shenandoah Valley, about 60 miles west of D.C., full of
Answer your
high
question.
government officials. And anyway.
Tell me the answer.
You made a bet.
Stop talking. Made a bet.
The bet. So I the reason we went there is I lost a bet with one of my friends that was there about Trump.
Okay.
And so we made another bet. And this bet is that Trump is not going to finish out his term.
Bingo.
For any number of reasons. There's lots and lots of reasons.
And this is the problem with this is if any of you watch left-leaning shows, as I do, they have been saying Trump is finished, Trump is sick, Trump's gonna, all these things for like a year. So as they've been saying it, it becomes whatever, stop. No one believes it's just propaganda. It's Democratic propaganda. They've been doing it for a year. Democratic propaganda. Trump's finished, Trump's gone, he's so sick, he's crazy, he's whatever the thing they want to say. Well, they spent so much time saying it that most people just kind of ignored them because it was obviously just propaganda. Okay. Now, people are starting to say maybe it's not propaganda anymore. And the reason is what I'm saying, which is this is the hardest job, perhaps in the world, I would assume in the world. You see how it just trashes people. They go in at like 30 and come out at like 90. Like that's how it works. He's going in at almost 80. He just can't, his mental and physical health cannot withstand this. It just can't. It's impossible. It can't do it. And once he loses and I wasn't sure about this until when did I become sure of it? I became sure of it when I became sure that he's going to get his ass kicked in November elections, which was about 2 months ago, 3 months ago. That's when I was sure. And I told my team, I'll put it in my team's chat. I'm like, it's over. He's done. Nobody can do it. And the reason is, if you're on a high and you're winning all the time, you could probably push through this. Your team will be behind you. You'll push forward. You'll withstand it. But once the elections hit this November and he gets crushed, his people are going to turn on him. And the Democrats are going to just punish that. They're not going to care about doing anything. Oh, you people think Democrats are going to help you? They're not. But they were never going to anyway. However, now they're going to have a reason not to. Maybe that's a better way. They weren't going to help you anyway, but at least now they will have a reason to not help you. See, we have to get the evil Trump. That'll be their story. And they will use like there's no tomorrow. And they will not impeach him. That won't happen. But they'll act like they're going to because a lot of Democrats want that so badly. And they will play to that because that is red meat to their base. They will play to it, raise money. They'll be like, help me impeach Trump. Send me $20. Guaranteed those emails will come out and they will work. And Democrats will throw money at them so they can impeach Trump. They're never going to impeach Trump. Doesn't matter. They will like whatever subpoena, I don't know, Witkoff or whatever, or subpoena JD Vance, whatever. They'll just do stuff like that. And they'll have a hearing and no yo or no shake your fist. Oh, they'll do that. And it will be awesome TV. It'll be awesome clips. And they'll raise tons of money. And it will all be an attempt to make sure Trump can get nothing done. And it will work. Trump has even said so. Mike Johnson has already said so. They've already said it out loud. If the Democrats win this, they're going to try to impeach us. They're going to keep us in hearings. It's absolutely true. They are telling you what's going to happen. Believe them. That is going to happen. And when that happens, that's when Trump goes, I'm done. Either physically, mentally, whatever, finished. No way he can, he's just a man, he cannot withstand it. And I said it a couple of months ago, and it's true. This guy's saying it too, and this was just recently. Oh, but wait, there's more. There's more. Hold on. There's more. This, again, and I'm bringing this up just to show you that there's tons of people just saying this. Hold on. This is, I'm only because I have more people to have more people. I'm just showing you certain people who just, this is now becoming mainstream, right? This is all within the last 2 weeks.
I'm on record with a lot of my friends. I think maybe I mentioned this to Scott a year ago or so, that I don't think, just as a wild guess, I mean, if you're going to make a bet, you want to make a bet that pays off a number of different ways. Mm-hmm. But I've been suggesting to my friends Trump wasn't going to finish 2 years of his term. And the reason it's a good bet.
Yeah, that's another one. He says it too, right? So that's just two. But here's the biggest one that just happened literally 2 weeks ago. This was maybe about 10 days ago, give or take. This is James Carville saying it straight up on mainstream stuff. Daily Beast. This is mainstream, right? This isn't just some random podcast. This is mainstream.
He's going to quit. I think he's going to get up and walk out of it. He's going to lose so decisively in November.
This is true. Carville is absolutely a Democratic act. No doubt he is. But it doesn't make him wrong. It doesn't make him wrong.
His power is going to just seep right out.
Yep.
People really don't care what he says anymore. Power
also true
is not a constant thing in a president. There are times when you have a lot of power. There are times when you don't have very much power.
Everything he's saying is correct. He's correct. This is why Trump is gone. There is no way he makes the full 2 years. There's no way he does it. Now, most people are saying, well, if he does 2 years, what about Vance? Vance will come in. My gut says January 20th. I keep saying, I've been saying it for a while. That's my gut, but it'll be sometime in that area. But my gut says January 20th, and that'll be when it's effective. And then there it is, done. Now, the problem is Trump may not care. Trump may just go, I'm out, and just literally just bail. That could happen. Trump might have to leave because his health may fail once this happens. Again, once you're no longer being supported, his mental and or physical health may deteriorate like that. That might happen. I mean, I don't know his health status, but that does happen to people. And again, he's just a person. That could happen. If that happens, boom, it goes. And he'll be done in like 7 days. He'll be out, just gone. I'm out, leave. Or won't show up to work, or will be in a hospital, or he'll do his best impression of Mitch McConnell or whatever. He'll do something like that. That's how that will work. That's the issue. So yeah, absolutely. That's the point I wanted to bring up. I think that was interesting for you to say. But you might go, but Larry, just because these guys say that, what are you talking about? Okay. This is this is like days ago, weeks ago. This here is from The Blaze, which these people are supposed to hate him, I guess. They're supposed to, but they don't. Now they're talking about this. This is from The Blaze.
Of disagreement between yourself and your vice president when it comes.
Now they brought this up. Is there a difference between yourself and your vice president? Because these guys are all in on Trump.
Comes to U.S. action in Iran.
I don't think so. No, we get along very well on this. He was.
Now, if you go back a little bit before, he wasn't happy with Vance, but this is recent. Now he's not so. He's okay.
I would say philosophically a little bit different than me. I think he was maybe less enthusiastic about going, but
He was less enthusiastic about going. Yes. Then he went to be the peacemaker. Remember that? And then all the people around Trump blamed Vance. If you remember, they're all like, Vance, you screwing us over. He's behind it. He's a plant from Iran or whatever garbage they said. Utter lie. None of that's true. But they said it because they have to defend Trump. I understand why they did it. Utterly false. Not even close. But they'll say it anyway, right? And it's all going to come back because what I loved, and I was surprised when he did it. I didn't think him and his team were savvy enough. Boy, I'm surprised. Very happy he did it. For him, it's the right move for him. He doubled down. He doubled down on the peacenik stuff. He doubled down on the he's going to get rid of fraud. He doubled down everything. Did not do like triple down, hardcore on it, and is still not directly attacking Trump. It is an excellent move on Vance's part.
he was quite enthusiastic. But I felt it was something we had to do. I didn't feel we had a choice. If we didn't do it, they would have done it.
Then
to
this
us.
is Trump talking.
I
his
felt
stuff,
based on the negotiations.
But then
that were
these
being
guys
had
come back
by
and talk
Steve
nice.
Woodcoff and Jared.
Okay, I'm going to move past this real fast.
I highlighted, I think I put the word insightful. And insightful because we know there's a division taking place.
Mm-hmm.
And JD Vance is the wingman of President Donald Trump.
That is what you want to hear if you are JD Vance. Literally, from the blaze. That's what you want to hear. Well done. Right? That's what you want to hear. Now, this is another dude who is, and one of these I've been on this with on Fox News with this guy on the left.
Of how America feels about Vice President Vance right now.
This is like
how
last
would you
week.
Characterize his place?
Like last
Obviously,
week.
it's different across the political spectrum, but just almost taking the
Why do you bring this up? Last week? Why is this even a thing?
politics out of it, Kevin.
And by the way, these guys are all just establishment guys. All of them. They're just establishment guys. Establishment Democrats, establishment Republicans. All of them are just establishment.
How do people feel about him? Is he enjoying a honeymoon at all with the American people? Is it totally bifurcated? Because a lot of people in the Republican Party now don't like him, or at least some elites.
Ah, see, that's recently. Yes. Andrew says, well, that's the Blaze speaking. The Blaze will let anyone that Trump picks their air. That's my point, Andrew. They have, if JD has any chance of making any impact, if he does, he has to reunite the clans. He has to reunite the clans. He's got to do what Trump didn't do and should have done, and I've been talking about for a year. He will have to do that. I brought this up. Not an easy task. Trump did it with literally force of will, right? Does JD have that? No. He doesn't have that force of will. Can he either get people to do so? Can he put a team together that can do it? That's possible. That is something that can be done. Himself? No, he can't do it by himself. But can he do it? He can. So the Blaze is part of it. So is the Tucker Carlsons of the world. It's all of them. So is Maha. So is libertarians. That's a tough one. But he has to.
Yeah, I think to some degree, interestingly enough, I think he's still kind of an unknown figure, despite writing a best-selling memoir of his childhood, appearing across all these different programs, Bill Maher, The View, other places. He turns 42
still young.
Next week, which is my birthday as well, when I turn 41. So I think there's still a curiosity around him, and the fact that he only served in the Senate for a short time before being elevated on the ticket with Donald Trump, President.
That's true. People don't know as much. Mike says, Larry, the largest chance for position is age health, but Trump's not collapsing like Biden. Not the media and Dems haven't said that about the orange. Yeah, again, your point is valid in that they've been saying it forever. We did a show on it like a year ago, whenever it was. I forgot when it was. Saying, oh, he's gone because he's out of the media for a weekend. Now he's dead or whatever. I agree with you that they've been saying it forever, which is why most people have been ignoring it. Because it's been Democratic propaganda for at least a year, if not longer. I don't know how long it's, whatever, at least a year, however long it's been. What I'm saying is it is, but I think the part that you may not see is none of that matters when you're winning. if the people are nipping at your heels, as the Democrats have been doing forever, but you're winning, who cares? But what happens when you start losing? What happens when the people around you no longer support you like they used to? What happens when they start ignoring you or looking for jobs someplace else? Do you remember that story? This is in 2024, when they made a story about RFK Jr., saying that RFK Jr. was calling the Democrats to get a job, whatever. That was an utter lie. That wasn't true. But you know what was happening? People in the campaign were. Why? They saw that RFK Jr. was going to struggle to get in the debate stage. They saw he was struggling to raise a bunch of cash to make the step that he wanted to make. They saw it. So those guys started to walk away from RFK Jr. and try to find some extra jobs someplace. That does hurt a guy who's running for office. Your team starts walking away from you. That will happen with Trump also. He's just a human being. That will affect his mental health, which will affect his physical health. That's what I'm saying. I'm not saying the Dems going bad stuff. They've been doing it forever. When the people around him begin to be like, you're not great anymore. We're not giving you attention anymore. We're not paying attention to him anymore. When that happens, that's when his health goes. And that's my point. That's when his health goes. When that happens, when the people around you start turning on you, that's when that happens. So yes. All right. Mike says, lol, I can just imagine the pardon that will happen. If you're right, Larry, I almost would like to see the annual. And there's the next part. I think that's another part you got to make up. You got to get also. His people will convince him to do so. As I've been talking about this, and Mike brought this up before I had a chance. You took my thunder, Mike. But you're right. Mike's correct again. Another reason why he's going to bail is when the Democrats come at him and all his people, and they will. They're not going to be able to impeach him, but they're going to threaten him and threaten all his people. And some of his people are going to believe it. They're going to be scared. Some are, because that's how it works. Those people who are scared, whoever it is, whether it's Kushner who gets scared or whoever, I don't know who's going to be scared, but they're going to be scared. They're going to pressure him. Look, you gotta pardon me, or you got to get JD to pardon us, or whatever. That's going to be another issue, the pardon. You're right, that they're going to pressure Trump. It's going to be on his ass. Whoever's mad, whoever's scared, right? What if there's some crypto bros who are scared they're going to get, whatever, put in jail by the Dems, and crypto bros might go away. Those people might go to jail. It's possible. And they're going to believe it. They're going to tell them that. When that happens, Trump's going to be like, hey, JD, here's the list of pardons. And does Trump do it first? Does he pardon everybody, then leave and have JD pardon him? Whatever. Now, could Trump pardon himself? Never been done. If anybody would do it, it would be Trump. But Trump's lawyer is going to tell him, don't do it. Because there's a chance it might fail. And if the Democrats have a chance of doing it, they will absolutely go at him. They will put him in court forever and call him a tyrant, and they'll just give Democrats more ammunition, and they will spend the next 7 years doing this. Mike, they will. They'll raise money off it, of course. And who's going to pay for that? Not Trump. The Republicans running after him are going to pay for that, because then Trump's name stays in it, blah, blah, blah. They link everyone to Trump and forever. And now they're in court and they've got spectacles and hearings. No. They're probably going to tell Trump, let JD do it. Let JD do it. They'll be mad at him or whatever, but there's not going to be there won't be lawsuits and hearings based upon that. It will make things less bad. And if Republicans around it want that, they're going to pressure them. They're going to say, do it. Let JD do it. You can pardon who you want to pardon. Let JD pardon you. That's what I think is going to happen. I see that completely. I agree with that. So I think, but I do think, and again, Democrats aren't going to be mad at it. They're going to act like, I'm sorry, that's not true. Let me be very clear. I need to be clear on this again. I'm not always clear on this. Democratic voters will be super pissed. But the actual elites, they know what I know. They know what you know, Mike. They know what's going to happen. They're totally fine with it. They're going to figure out how are they going to make their hearings or their spectacles so they can raise money off it. They're just going to raise money off it. So the leaders of the Democratic Party know what's going to happen, are happy with it, and will figure out how to make spectacle. The average Democratic voter will be super pissed. The Democratic pundits will be super pissed. You are correct. So it depends upon which part of the Democratic hierarchy are you looking at, Mike? That's the actual question. Which part are you looking at?
Trump, that there are still a lot of questions. Again, he wrote this new book about his conversion to Catholicism, but I think there's still a
conversion to Catholicism. He wrote his book about his upbringing. Oh,
curiosity and an interest to want to know more about what his actual core values are. In a really good place to be potentially the next president of the United States.
Yeah. Yep. Larry, that's a hard thing. The exact thing Kevin just said, letting people know what your core values are. It's a hard thing for every vice president. It's just the nature of the office. And so if you think about, let's say every vice president since Bush 41 was Reagan's vice president, where would you rank JD Vance?
Now, this is just establishing people talking about this. Why? Because they know he's the next guy. That's my point I've been saying. They know he's the next guy.
Vance is a political athlete compared to those people. So we're talking about Bush 41.
So I just want you to see that piece. They know he's the next guy. That's why they're talking about him. And now this is Fox News less than a week ago. And if you go back about 3 weeks or 4 weeks, Fox News was mad at JD. They were kind of blaming him for the failures. Remember that? They were like, oh, it didn't work. The piece didn't work. It was JD screwing it up. And then the pundits were all over JD. They were like, oh, it's his problem. What did he do? He screwed us over. That's what there was. But now what are they asking JD? Well, now they're asking JD, how do you stop socialism? I'm not joking. And listen to what JD says.
Big questions facing America right now.
True.
What comes next with Iran, and why is socialism sticking with young Americans?
Trump is not answering either of those questions. So who's next? JD. He's going to answer them.
Here's more.
Next year, he's going to be
those
president.
Questions and my conversation with Vice President JD Vance. Let's talk for a minute about Iran. There is frustration, Mr. Vice President, I think, out there on the seesaw nature of what's going on in Iran.
Even Fox News is bringing up the seesaw, the seesaw nature of this. Even Fox News is bringing this up.
Iran. We're close to a deal, then we're going to bomb the hell out of them. The strait is open, then the strait is closed. And I'm sure that
now, if he was a Democrat, he would just immediately attack Trump. Trump's bad. Trump's dumb. Trump, blah, blah. He ain't doing that. If he was anti-Trump, if he was say it was if this was say a I don't know, he was in a primary against Trump, he'd be insulting Trump right now. He ain't gonna do that.
Frustration is shared inside the White House. So I know it's hard to project, but let me ask you, how does this end? What does this look like when and if it's over with Iran?
Well, the thing I can say with confidence is I think this ends with the United States in a stronger position, with Iran not having a nuclear weapon, and with the Strait of Hormuz returned to a place where oil and gas prices are.
Now, here is how Vance can win compared to Trump. Trump has changed what he wanted to do. Vance never did. Vance now just goes, oh, we'll just end it and it'll be what it was. That's easy to get. This is good communication. I'm giving JD Vance credit, and I don't always do that, but I am giving him credit here. He's literally saying, yeah, I can fix this. This is why I say the guy who's going to end the Iran war is JD Vance. It's not Trump. Because JD Vance can just go, oh, here are my 3 things. Boom, boom, boom. Done. That's a win. He can come home and do the parade. And he'll do it. He'll come home, do the parade. He'll do it.
Stable for the American people.
He didn't say lower. He said stable.
Will, is that the Iranians
No, he didn't say lower the oil prices. He said stable. Trump should have learned from this. He didn't, like I told you guys last night, Trump said $2 gas. He should have said $5 gas. Then when we have 4, see, we're winning. He said 2. So now when we have 4, everybody's pissed. He didn't say lower gas prices. He didn't say any of that. He just said stable. Now, when they go back, what'd you promise? I didn't promise you lower gas prices. I promise you stable gas prices. And that's what he'll deliver.
Sometimes make commitments that they don't honor. They make a deal, they don't honor the deal. And I understand.
See, he won't call it a lie. He'll just say they don't make the deal. That's fine. Much smarter. Missy says it. I don't care who wins that war. I just want that. Most Americans feel the same way, Missy. Most Americans want it to end. If Trump would just come home and go, we won, we'd all go, great, good. Thank you. Let's move on. Can we do that? Yeah, absolutely. D says, I just watched that reel/short too. Trump and it's all gas rhetoric. Yes, everyone's watching it. You can't say $2, give us $4, and then be mad when we're pissed off. No. He should have told us 5. Now we got 4. We'd be happy. Basic business.
Your point about the seesaw nature of this, but I think what that reflects is that we have a lot of tools at our disposal to compel action. And sometimes we're focused on the energy piece of it because we want Americans to be able to afford the price of oil and gas.
Did you hear what he mentioned? He said, we want Americans to afford gas and oil. He didn't go, I don't care if you afford that oil. Andrea says, Vance is good at political dancing. He's gotten better. He wasn't either. And this is something that's good about young people, right? Younger people have a better chance at changing, getting better if they're open to it. It's why I told you Stephen A. Smith has a chance. Why? He's got time to get better. It's why you look at someone like AOC. She's got time to get better, right? Vance has had the biggest advantage of all of them. He's been on the stage and been forced to get better, and it worked. It's why Kamala Harris should have gone through a primary. Either the Democrats would have got a better candidate or she would have had to get better. That's the piece. Vance is better. You can see he's better than he was. He's getting better. Everyone's going to forget about what he did before. They're going to forget about that. They're going to forget about that. They're going to look at him now and judge him now because that's how we think. I wish it wasn't, but that is how we think. Mike says, Middle East will never go back to pre-2025. This zone has fought for decades and should have been resolved long ago. Ending in politics makes it worse. No, you're incorrect, Mike. And here's the reason why. You're saying worse for geopolitics. Americans don't give a shit about that. The piece you're talking about, Americans don't care about. They care about their gas prices. They care about their jobs. If you give them jobs, then maybe they'll care about the other shit. They don't care. There's terrorism. They don't care. And this is what so many neocons don't get. And that's why they're fed. It's why DSA, Vance is going to tell you that, Mike. He's going to tell you in about 2 minutes, he's going to tell you that. We don't care. You're talking about shit we don't care about. And you might go, well, you should. It doesn't matter if we should. We don't. And if you're going to be a savvy political consultant, you have to understand what Americans do care about, not what they should care about. It's irrelevant what we should care about. It's what we do care about. And the Trump administration does not understand it's what we do care about. DSA knows that, and that's why they're winning. And that's why they should have no chance. Should. They do. Because they understand what we do care about, not what we should.
Sometimes we're obviously focused on the military nature of it. Sometimes we're focused on the nuclear program. So I think what is really happening is that you're seeing a president of the United States at the height of his authority with a lot of tools, diplomatic, military, and economic. What I think is really going on from the inside is that we're using those tools very selectively, very strategically to get.
This is a great dance. Yeah, look, I gave AOC a bunch of credit for her dancing. Now I'm giving JD a bunch of credit for his dancing. I slammed Donald Trump last night for his terrible communication, because it is. And now I'm going to give credit to JD for good communication, because it is. This is good communication. This is working. That's why he's on Fox News a week ago, where after they were hammering him like a month ago. Now they like him all of a sudden. That's why the Blaze likes him all of a sudden. They all like him all of a sudden because they know he's the next goddamn president and he's doing a better job of communicating. And America's going to hear this because America doesn't care about geopolitics because we're struggling, because we can't pay our bills, we can't pay our insurance, we can't find girlfriends and boyfriends, we can't pair bond. We don't give a shit. He gets it.
Get the outcome that the president of the United States needs to get for the benefit of the American people. And it really is twofold. It's ensuring that the Gulf countries continue to send oil and gas to the world economy so that we have energy price stability. That's obviously important for the American people.
Yeah.
I know that oil is down today, and it's way down from.
He didn't say anything about terrorism or Iran or nothing. Why? Because we don't care. Because we don't care. That's the reason. This is brilliant. This is exactly the right answer. We don't care.
The highs in the early days of the conflict. That's goal number one. Keep oil and gas cheap for Americans.
Goal number one, he just said. Goal number one, this man just said, was to keep oil and gas cheap for Americans. That gets you elected. That ensures you don't get your ass kicked in November. That ensures you can win an election. But Larry, I don't care. This is what matters. This is brilliant.
All over our country. And then obviously goal number two is ensure that Iran never gets a nuclear weapon.
He made that goal number two. That's not what Trump said. Trump said goal number one. Trump said, take your $4 gas and eat it. Eat it. Eat it, suckers. The other dude on Fox said, if you got to get killed or whatever, who cares? They don't. That's what he said. That ain't what JD Vance said. That's not what JD Vance said. Now, for those of you who were mad at me beating up Republicans last night, I know some of you were. I'm doing it fair. This is the right answer. This is the right answer.
I feel confident we're accomplishing both of those goals, but it's inherently an
See, didn't diss Trump's goal, just made it second. Didn't diss it, just made it second. Smart move. D says, be like Braun and Robin, invite new peeps here. Oh, thank you. I appreciate that. Yes. Robin, Lori, welcome to your first Sharpe show. Glad you're here. I'm glad you're here too, Lori. What you will hear me do is give you real information, what's really happening. Look, I am biased because I am a libertarian. So I am biased, but I'm not biased for Democrats, Republicans. That I'm not biased. I'm not. I tell what's real good rhetoric and what's not, what works and what doesn't. I predict shit that happens on both sides of the fence. I hammer both sides when I have to hammer both sides. So you will not hear me deal with that issue whatsoever in that. But I am libertarian, so that is my bias. True. Anti-war, hate the war, can't stand it. So I am biased in that regard, but not Democrat, Republican. That I'm not biased either way. And if you lean more left when I hammer the Democrats, you'll be upset. When you lean more right when I hammer Republicans, you'll be upset. But I'll still be right either way. So yeah, hope that helps.
Predictable thing because the Iranians themselves are unpredictable and they sometimes don't honor the commitments they've made to us.
All right, really quickly, I want to ask you this. There is obviously, and I think it's beyond comedically, a movement in the United States to embrace socialism. We've seen, for example.
So now he goes to that one. You got to deal with socialism. Now, this is the part that, if you remember, I did this a while ago when someone was talking about why are people doing X and doing Y. And it was a woman, Emily Austin, who is a friend of mine, who's been on the show. She is very pro-Israel and very pro-Trump. And when they asked her why this was happening, she said, oh, it's suicidal empathy. She was wrong. The reality of it is it's because people are in trouble and don't care. That's the real thing. So now, what would the average Republican do when they hear this? Why bring the socialism? They don't get it. That's what Republicans say. They don't get it. They're stupid. It's education. They'll give every excuse known to man, which never works. The DSA is still winning, and they've been yelling communists for I don't know how long. What's JD going to say?
A joke of a candidate in Wisconsin still get
insults. This is what Fox does. This is what all the conservatives do. They just insult. The conservatives of today have become the Democrats of 2016. No answers, insult. They insulted Trump forever, and Trump won twice. It doesn't work. Now Republicans think, well, I'm insulting now. It ain't going to work.
300,000 votes, people voting for democratic socialism. But I think the real question, and I think it's a question for you, it's a question for Republicans at large, is this. When a young person looks at their life and they say,
listen to this brilliant question. Fox doesn't often do this, but they did. When a young person's life, the same stuff you've been hearing me complain about for 2 years, I've been complaining about this, and here we go.
No, I did what America asked me to do. I went to college, I got a job, and I don't think I can afford the life that my parents could afford. Now, whether or not that's statistically accurate, it is a real...
Look, whether it's statistically accurate, conservatives, stop dismissing the youth and wonder why you're losing the youth. Just stop it. You don't have to add that bullshit, but they do because they have to insult. The same way the Democrats were in 2016. They had to go, well, you know, conservatives and well, Trump, orange. They had to do it. Democrats, Republicans are becoming that, and they got to stop. They got the Democrats were orange man bad for 10 years straight, and it didn't work. Trump's president twice. Lost the House and the Senate. No, the House, you lost both. Yeah, you lost both of them. Yes. Right? So now you're going to go brown man bad and think that's going to work? No, you can't go brown man being Mamdani. You can't. It doesn't work.
Feeling and a growing feeling. So what is your answer to that?
Okay, there we go. Mike literally walked directly into it. I didn't finish it yet. Socialism is propelled in part because of fading and part of fading indoctrination in education. To reverse it takes decades, just like Dems spent to build the momentum. So, Mike basically is saying it's indoctrination in education. Right. They're ignorant or they're stupid. This is what all conservatives say. Mike fell right into it. Yes. It's not what JD's going to say. His answer is the right answer.
Young person.
You know, our answer, Will, and this is the exact right question to ask.
Yes, it is the right question.
Our response to socialism, which is a dangerous and destructive ideology, it's been tried in the past and failed.
Not wrong.
Our response to that can't be just to ignore the economic concerns that I think are feeding this rising interest in socialism.
Can't be to ignore it. Is every conservative who always has to be right listening to what this man's saying? Find a conservative saying that. This is exactly the right answer. It's exactly the right answer. Now, hold on. Mike, I got to beat you up on this. I have to, because you're wrong. Mike says it's the political answer, not the right answer. The difference is vastly important. No, the political answer is the right answer by default. This is fucking politics. By default, it's the right answer. You can't get into power to make things happen if people don't vote for you. People don't like voting for know-it-alls. They don't. I wish they did. I know everything. I'd be governor if that were true. They don't. They vote people they like. People who care about them. People who connect to them. That's who they vote for. Hence, AOC is still my goddamn congressman. Hence, Mamdani is both you and mine, our mayor, because he connects to people, because he's good at it. The evidence is in front of you everywhere, and every other conservative keeps doing the same shit. The evidence is everywhere. I said this exact same thing about all the wokesters 10 years ago, 5 years ago, 4 years ago. I was screaming at Democrats, saying the same thing about Democrats in 2024 when what was Trump doing? Saying all the right things. All the right, and Democrats kept doing identity politics bullshit. It wasn't working. It was turning people off. It was making them feel like assholes because they were. Just because you say you're right doesn't mean anyone cares. This is the right answer. If conservatives and Republicans start going down this road, things will change. I told you all 3 years ago, if Democrats want to start winning, they have to go economically left, even though I am not economically left at all. What happened? They went economic left, they're winning. Conservatives, if you're going to listen, Democrats listened. If you're going to listen, follow this motto. Do not listen to Mike. He is wrong. Do what JD says. This is the right answer. You'll start winning.
And I guess I would say to that young person that you as an American citizen deserve to have a good life in this country, and you deserve to have a government that is...
He used the left-leaning words. When do you hear Republicans use the word deserve? I hate that word. I never use that word. I don't believe in it. You hear me. I say I can't stand it. No one deserves a goddamn thing. That's what I think. But he used the right words. This gets the left to go, huh? Perfect way of speaking. Someone told him that that's what they should do, and boom, right there. That I gotta have you hear. You gotta hit it again. That, oh my God, yes.
Country, and you deserve to have a government that is making it easier for you to start a family, for you.
No, he says we deserve what you earn. You're right. No, you're right. I agree with you. But people want to hear that. Well done. Well done.
To afford to get a good education, for you to have a good job, for
good education, good job. Now, I've said this just the other day. Generally speaking, Republicans prefer when people project strength. General rule, not 100%. Democrats prefer when people project empathy. They prefer that. Most Republicans are better at projecting power than empathy. Most Democrats are better at projecting empathy than power. Most. It's not 100% rule. Most. When you put that in mind, what Trump did, he and I mean over, he projects strength like, I don't know who projects strength like him. And Republicans ate that up. Of course they did. Most Americans who wanted a leader ate that up. That's why he won twice. 100%. Makes total sense. I get that. JD now is actually trying to project empathy. That's how you put the coalition together. That's how you put the coalition together. Yes, Bronna says it. Vance is speaking like a politician used to, pander to both sides. Yes, literally, because JD's people know what people are asking for is independence, which means not just attacking the other, not just calling them bad. No, he didn't say Democrats were bad. He said the socialist ideology. The socialist ideology. So just the DSA guys who aren't going to vote for him anyway. But will a mainstream Democrat vote for him? Yes. Yes. That's what he wants. He ain't going to get DSA people to vote for him. He doesn't care. He didn't need them. He needs all the Republicans, the people who wish Trump was still around when he's not, to be around, which he will keep that legacy. If he's smart, he'll do that. So he'll get them. And then he'll get those pissed off Democrats who don't want to go socialist. This is literally the right way of doing things.
You to afford a home. And what I would also say is that whilst these things sometimes take a little bit of time, we are already seeing the positive results come from the president's economic policies. We're seeing trillions of dollars of new investment into this country, which
now he's saying Trump's doing his job.
Good middle class jobs for young people,
middle income
people all across our country. We're seeing housing prices finally stabilize. They doubled during the Biden administration. They have finally kind of flatlined during the first year and a half of the Trump administration. We also want to get in.
So he's still attacking Biden as you have to. You're on Fox, got to attack Biden. Well done. It's no difference than when Democrats have to always go orange man bad. You have to do that. You go on MSNBC, you got to blame something on Trump, no matter what, or no, you have to do that if you go on MSNBC. On Fox, you got to blame something on Biden. So, or Harris, either one, but you blame. Good. This is a good deal. This is exactly the right answer.
Interest rates down, of course, so that young people can afford a home.
So young people can afford a home. Can you find another Republican saying that?
We want people to be able to afford the good things about this wonderful country that we all live in. And my warning to my fellow Republicans, Will, would be if we don't get this right, don't blame young people for being sympathetic to socialism. We've got to blame ourselves.
Did you hear what this man just said? Literally what I said the other day. Why you've heard me these last, 2 weeks or so. I've been anti-Republican these last 2 weeks. Why? Because I think they're failing to defend us as they're the only guys who can against the DSA. Why? Because their communication has been garbage. He just said that, didn't he? He said, don't blame them, blame us. Yes, because as you've heard me say a gazillion times, and I'll keep saying it, When you give people no answer and a bad answer, they take the bad answer. And when someone says, I can't afford my house, well, you've been indoctrinated. That's no answer. And then DSA goes, well, tax the rich. That's an answer. Let's do that. Boom. DSA wins. Is it the right answer? Well, you might go, well, no, you can't tax the rich. Yeah, but they're in charge. So yes. So yes. It's the right answer. Get empowered to do the right thing. I hope they can.
I think what is so unique and refreshing about Donald Trump's economic policies.
Oh, look at that. Then he goes back to Donald Trump. Nicely
is that
done.
It's not the same old economic, ideas that you would have heard 30, 40 years ago. He's talking about rebuilding our industrial base.
Okay. Here is my issue with this one. While he's right, why didn't anybody in the Trump campaign say this 2 years ago? He's not wrong. How come no one said it? Bronner says Vance is nailing it. Yes. And this is Bronner saying Vance is nailing it. He is. Andrea, Vance is a much better communicator. He is. Andrea, he is kissing ass. He is. That doesn't make him wrong. Yes. Knows he says it. Andrea, Vance is not a bully. That's a good thing. Yes. Gracie, Marine Corps will teach you accountability. You and JD illustrate that perfectly. Tell me I'm wrong now, Mike. You know I'm right. You know I'm right. This is the right answer. This is far better. Mike, you would have been saying this. You would have, what JD's saying now, you would have been saying. If this was years ago, you'd be saying
rebuilding the heartland, making our streets safer.
You literally said this on your show how many years ago? He's saying it now.
Making it possible for young people to afford to buy a home. This is how you stop socialism. You don't stop socialism by throwing slogans at people about the free market. As much as I love the free market.
Thank you. You don't beat socialism by throwing slogans at them.
You stop socialism by making people's lives better. And that's what.
Wait a minute. Yeah. Not by talking about bombing people. Nobody cares.
We're trying to do every single day.
All right. That answer, I believe, is worthy of a much longer conversation. Maybe one that you and I can have.
Look at that.
In Austin as the University of Texas plays.
Look at that. That is why I'm telling you, Trump is finished. He will not be done. And Trump is finished. He's not gonna finish his term. No one's paying attention to what this guy's saying right now. They should be, but they're not. Republicans, it's too late. This was their last month to finish it. They haven't even come close to finishing it. The war. I'm sorry. This was the last month for the Republicans to finish this war. They haven't. They're not even close to doing it. They're not going to finish this war. They're going to keep it going, and that's going to end the November. They're going to get crushed in November. It's going to happen. I'm already saying it. It's a disaster. Trump is going to bail in some way, shape, or form. Whether his mental or physical health fails, one of the two will fail in some way, shape, or form. That'll be the end. JD Vance can be next president. That's how it works. So yes. Mike says it. Yes, that part I've said. I know. I've heard you say it. That's my point. This was the whole point when people kept saying the only thing that Trump was worried about was the nuclear weapons. That's not. That's what it's become. Trump was trying to do a whole bunch of stuff. And when he was saying it, I was, if you remember, Mike, this is the one I was saying this. Remember, I was saying, Trump's screwing up. What's he doing? His policies can't work in a year. It's impossible. His policies take years to implement. So tell us that now. Let us know now. These policies will take years to implement. You're not going to have a golden age tomorrow. Remember you did that golden age stuff? And I was like, this is a terrible mistake. Don't do it. Terrible idea. Yeah, golden age 4 or 5 years from now, maybe. Not now. And now the problem is because they didn't say that, we don't want it anymore. We don't want it anymore. And when the American people don't want it, it doesn't matter. If we don't want it, we ain't getting it. If he would have said it the right way, said what JD's saying, we might have been like, all right. But we didn't. We didn't. So Anyway, Brian said, don't get too excited, Larry. I won't be voting for him. But he is speaking what voters want to hear. That's my point. That is my point. Bronner, you don't like any of these guys. And you can look at it and go, yeah, that's good though. And that's what I'm saying. This is game. This is just game recognizing game. I'm never voting for AOC. But I can still show when she's knocking out of the park. When she's seeing who her audience is and then speaking right to that audience and getting them to go, yeah. Vance is seeing his audience and speaking right to it. His audience is not Republicans. It isn't. His audience is upset Democrats. That's his audience. And of course, Trumpsters who want to make sure he's not anti-Trump. All he has to be is not anti-Trump. That's it. And he's now set up the new rules. The rules to end the war now aren't what Trump was trying to achieve. Vance isn't talking about that. Smart move, he shouldn't. He's talking about you get to have stable gas. He didn't say $2. He said stable gas. Exactly the right answer. He's doing very well. This is why you hear me say what I said. This is why it's working. You're going to see. I'm running this one. If you want to make a bet, I'd make the bet if I were you. That's just my 2 cents. I might do one myself. So, yeah, this is the answer. This is a much better way of doing things. Most Republicans are not doing this at all. They're just yelling communist all day long, which does not work. And I don't care if it's right. It's irrelevant. It doesn't work. See, look, if you want to be that way, great. Be like us libertarians. We yell taxation is theft all day long. And that gets us how many elections? Oh, wait, none. But we're righteous and we're correct. Libertarians are correct all the time. Constantly, we're right all the time. And boy, that gets us how much power? Oh, right, none. We get to make change. Oh, right, never. So if you want to be effective in being able to move the thing forward, sometimes you got to not worrying about virtue signaling. Some of you have watched me on shows, some pretty recently, where people say things that I completely disagree with. I don't touch it. Why? I don't have to always be right. Sometimes the relationship is worth it. I just say nothing. And sadly, people often take that. Well, you should have told her out. Why? Well, no, I didn't agree with her. I don't have to agree with her. I can just go, okay. And I often do that. You see my interviews. I don't always attack everybody. I don't always call them wrong. Okay. That's it. And move on. The relationship sometimes matters more than me being right. Of course, with libertarians, though, we always want to virtue signal. So we have to yell taxation is theft no matter what, regardless of who's in front of us. And that's not the right answer. Christopher says, I like Vance. He's level-headed and pragmatic, like Larry. Aw. And I have confidence in his ability to lead. There we go. There we go. Christopher says, I like Marco Rubio also. The issue we have here is, what most people don't know is that Rubio can be fired or removed. Vance cannot. Now, Vance has to be impeached. That's not going to happen. So, because Vance was elected, Rubio was not. They can just get rid of Rubio, right, whenever they want. So, yeah. KH, how are you? Lori, there may be some spicy words once in a while. True. I do get spicy sometimes. Phil says, isn't JD Vance a liar? I mean, lawyer. Aren't they all? This is our biggest issue. There are two big issues with our elected officials at particularly the federal level. Two big issues. One, they're all too damn old. Now, it's okay for some to be too damn old. There are too many of them who are too damn old. It's a problem when everyone in leadership's over 70 and 80. That's a problem. There's too many who are too damn old. We should have old people. I don't mean that. And when I say old, anyone who is like 10 years older than me by default's old, regardless of how old I get. So however old I get, if you're 10 years older than me, you're old. So when I get older, that number goes up because I'm never old. I'm the appropriate age. Everyone else is old compared to me. So that's how the rules work. So you can be old. I don't have a problem with that. Can't be too many of them. That's the issue. There should be young people also. That's piece number one. Piece number two, they're all freaking lawyers. And by the way, lawyers are priests. I'm not joking. They are priests of the law. So our priest class rules us. That is a problem because when the priest class rules us, the Holy Scriptures matter more than anything else. It does not matter what makes sense. It does not matter what works. It does not matter the outcomes. And if you can somehow manipulate the Holy Scriptures, it becomes okay, regardless of what the outcome is, regardless of what happens. This is why having our priest class rule us is a problem. We should make a rule that says only X number of lawyers should be. Now, I'm not against lawyers, to be forward. In business, it's a similar thing. I say this to my clients I work with. I say, whenever you're making a big decision, there needs to be a lawyer in the room. Has to be, you're going to make a mistake. You want a lawyer in the room. The last thing you want is a room full of lawyers. That's the last thing. If it's all lawyers, walk away. It's disaster. Don't be part of that. Don't be part of whatever comes up. Don't be a part of it. Don't be a part of it. And smart law firms don't hire only lawyers. They hire non-lawyers also. I know I'm often hired by law firms. I'm not a lawyer. So you don't want to have only lawyers in the room. If only lawyers in the room, don't be part of it. It's going to be a disaster. Guaranteed. So, yes. D says, where's Pete with the debt count? Oh, did Larry? Oh, is Pete? Did he pop up with the debt? Oh, I don't even know. Did he? I wasn't. I got to check now. I'm sorry. Thank you for that. All right. Let me see if I can find it. Hold on. Let me see if I can find it. I will look for it. I did not notice. Perhaps I missed it. All right. Chris says about Trump, outstanding protest for his job, so he can the best of him and his age, and the demonization doesn't help. I agree. I think that his age, he's just a person, Chris. He's just a person. Mike says Vance will be a great president in 2028. No, Trump will resign, be impeached, or any other act to stop being president. $5 says you're wrong, Mike. $5 says you're wrong. I got two $5 bets on you. Number one was I'm telling you it is not going to be a sweep for the Republicans at all in November. You think that's true, and Trump ain't going to survive. Won't last. Not survive. Don't do that. CIA. Don't be mad at me. Will not stay the course for his 4 years. Yes, absolutely. So, and it may be his health. It could be his health. I'm not. And again, mental or physical, because of what Chris was talking about. This job is going to become too much. So yes. All righty. I've got that piece already. All right. Okay, Mike says, does Larry disagree with me? Sure. I will still be correct, as Trump is in no way incapable as Larry. Many Dems think hope, nor are his chances as reviled as, say, Nixon or Clinton. Yeah, $5 says I'm right. I disagree completely. $5 says I'm right. At the moment, I don't think you're right. As, say, Nixon, you're right. Clinton, no. Clinton's fine. Clinton was hold on. Sorry. I need to let me adjust the Clinton piece. Prior to the e-files. Prior to the e-files, Clinton was fine. Once the e-files came out, then you're right. Prior to e-files, no. Post e-files, yeah. It's true. You're right. So, yeah, that is true. So Christopher says, Vance Rubio versus Harris AOC likely, or Newsom AOC. I do not see Harris at all being the nominee. I don't doubt she might try to run if her friends, convince her to. I cannot see her winning a nomination, particularly because Newsom will be involved. If Newsom's involved, their donors are the same donors, if that makes any sense, right? So they will fight for the same donors, which is why I can't see, unless Newsom drops out and backs her or something like that, which I don't see that happening either. So if they had all fight, they share donors. AOC has a much higher chance, but I don't think she's running for president. I think AOC might be VP. I see her doing a VP slot, or maybe running just so she can get a cabinet position somehow. I don't see her winning that either. So yes. Erang says Sharpe 819 airing on 819. True. 818 aired on 818 and 820 will air on 820. True. Just luck. That's accurate. Just luck. So, all righty. Mike says, one example, what I mean, Vietnam was fought like by Americans, caused zero president to be removed. LBJ literally quit because of it. What are you talking about? He didn't run for office because of it. Iran has caused really no lives in comparison, no draft, little inflation. I'm not even going to touch these things. Mike, $5. That's my answer. None of that. No. Yeah, LBJ didn't run for office again because of it. So kind of yes, he outed himself. So yeah. In any case, so let me move on. All righty. Let's see here. Andrew's here with chicken dinner. I like it. That's good. Kiss that button. That's correct, guys. If I haven't asked you already, please click the like button, the button known as Lima India Kilo Echo, if you would. I appreciate it. Share and repost if you would. Support the show if you would. The Sharpe Way at the link tree. I would love that. If you would, I appreciate it tremendously. Let me grab some more of this if I can. Oh, everyone's back and forth saying hi. I love it. We're all going back and forth. I love it. All right. Let's see here. All right. Mike says Johnson got America to Vietnam. No, that's not true. Kennedy did. Kennedy got us in. Johnson doubled, triple down when he didn't have to. Kennedy was responsible for getting us into Vietnam. He got us into Vietnam. It was not Johnson. That's not true. Kennedy did. And it was to help replace France. That was a part of it. It was true. But it was Kennedy, not Johnson followed Kennedy, and he probably shouldn't have. Johnson could have got us out and should have, but Kennedy is the one who got us in. JFK got us into Vietnam. I wish he hadn't. There's literally him saying about the people who died. He was talking about it in his debate with Nixon, right? I think he was. Oh, no. Was it? He was talking about it on some show. I forgot. But he talked about it. He absolutely did. About them. So, yeah. Already there. I appreciate that. I'm sorry. Nixon continued it until it was unfeasible, then ran away, almost values Biden in Afghanistan. Yeah, I think both are correct. That's accurate. Biden was terrible with what he did, 100%. Andrea says it. 40 trillion, 47 billion, 469 million, $526,953. Who's talking about that? Maybe us and maybe Thomas Massey. Nobody else. Because who cares? Bomb people. Because that's what we care about. Bombing people. Erang says, maybe we're more like Romper Room. The Romper Room magic mirror stomper, bomper, boo, tell me, do. Oh, I remember that one. Magic mirror, tell me today, did all my friends have fun at play? I love that. Yes. Borna says, that's just incorrect. Kennedy. Yeah, thank you. Yeah, it's correct. Borna knows. That's true. That's what actually happened. Thank you, Bronner. Bronner, you already covered me. Yep. Andrew says, I still stand by my statement from an earlier stream that the only way Trump leaves his office from serious health decline, or if they actually manage to impeaching a victim, the ego too big. I'm not saying you're wrong with that, which is my point. I don't think they will impeach him. I do not think that will happen. Will they attempt to mock him and put his people on trial and stuff like that, have hearings? Absolutely, they will. They've done it before. They'll keep doing it. It's great TV. It's great for commercials. It's great for raising money. Of course, to do that. I do not see him impeaching. I agree with you and Mike. I do not think he'll be impeached. But at one point, his health simply just declines, and the people around him. As I've said, one of the mistakes Trump has made is when he got rid of his, or I should say ignored, not got rid of, when he ignored his coalition. And if you remember, I told you guys this in 2024, if this coalition is great, he will have to maintain it with his iron fist. Only he can maintain it. No one else can. He did not. It fell apart, as was obvious when he was paying attention. That was going to fall apart. It did. Most of the people who love him, he started to push a lot of them away. They're not there anymore. They're walking away. And so who's going to be left? Neocons? Well, they're going to make a deal with Vance. Let's make a deal with Vance. The neocons don't love Trump. They never did. In fact, for most of them, they hated him. Right? They only liked him when he started doing their bidding. Then they were okay with him out. But before that, they didn't like him. So now he's a good tool for them. I like that. The second he can't do it, they'll make a deal with Vance in a heartbeat. Vance will make a deal. Or, I'm sorry, if Vance is savvy enough, he should be making one. It's the right move. Neocons are still important in the Republican Party. I know some of you don't like neocons, but they are. They still are. They still have value and power in the Republican Party. And Democratic Party too, by the way. So I should be clear on both of those. But in this case, it matters for the Republican Party. He'll make a deal and move on. And then they'll figuratively stab him in the back. Figuratively stab him in the back. So just for sure on this. Yes. Bruno says, there'll be no President Vance. He's a nobody. Foisted on Trump by his crypto bra, Peter Thiel. You're not wrong. Peter Thiel, though, will come back from Argentina. He's in Argentina right now. He'll come back. You're not wrong. He was foisted on Trump by Peter Thiel because, again, Trump was putting together what, again, I said back then was amazing, a great coalition to include the crypto bros. He did. Crypto bros, Maha, the anti-war people from Tulsi Gabbard. True, he did it. That was great. He let it go, though. Thiel packed up and went to Argentina. The crypto bros, they got Trump a bunch of cash, his family a bunch of cash, and then went, oh, okay, are we done now? Now, the problem is, here's the problem, Daniel, is the Democrats are going to try their damnedest to punish and or put in jail any way they can any crypto bro they can get their hands on. They're going to try. Doesn't mean they can do it, but they are going to try. So when President Vance can pardon all his boys, they'll be back. So, yeah, that's what I see. So, all righty. Let's see here. Andrea says, Barnes has said he believes will happen late January. Yeah, see, Barnes on board too. I'm not the only guy saying this. Everyone's saying it now. It's a thing now. Yes, it's a thing now. I see it. So, Christopher says Vance is definitely qualified. Harris was not horrible VP. Oh, was not horrible VP. Yeah, look, to be forward, Vance has spent more time on international stage. That's true. Harris was just terrible, period. Right? And I've said this to people who don't like hearing it, particularly people on the left. People will always say, Harris lost because America's sexist. They'll say that. Not true. Harris lost because she was a terrible candidate. That's why she lost. You know, how do you know that, Larry? Because, again, I say all the time, in 2016, Hillary Clinton won the popular vote. America as a whole voted for a woman president. That's what happened. Trump won the Electoral College and therefore became president. That's the way the system works. It's a legal win. I'm not taking his victory away from him. All I'm saying is to say America is sexist and wouldn't vote for a female president, we already did 10 years ago. Harris was a terrible candidate. She's a bad person in general, right? But she's just a terrible candidate. So, yes. And it says, also, Trump's presidency is already finished, like credibility. You're not wrong. There's a lot of people who aren't paying attention to him anymore. You're not wrong. His word doesn't carry the same amount of power. That part, Carvel's correct. His words do not carry as much power. Yeah, that's true. Andrew says even donors want to super into him. That's why he's making money other ways. You're not wrong. You're not wrong. And recently, just these last couple of elections, you don't hear him talking trash about the people he's endorsed. You don't hear him talking trash. He didn't do well this time. Even his power within the Republican Party is waning. Even his power within the Republican Party is waning. It's not over. I don't want to, I'm not one of them Democrats, who go around, hey, he's done, he's finished, blah, blah, blah. Right? No, I'm not saying that. I'm saying it's waning. Phil says, didn't Eisenhower send a few advisors? Yes. If I'm not mistaken, I think Eisenhower was only advisors. If I'm not mistaken, if my history serves me correctly, he was only advisors, no actual troops. Kennedy, if I remember my history correctly, was the first one to actually send troops in. There weren't many, obviously, but he sent them. So I'm pretty sure that's true. Phil, you can do some homework on that if you don't mind. Check it out. I think. So look, we've been sending advisors everywhere. Doesn't mean we're in a war. So I don't think. I mean, unless you count. Do you count advisors as starting? If you count advisors, then I would say Ike. I'm not sure I do because we've sent advisors freaking everywhere. Does that mean we're in Angola? We sent advisors to Angola. Does that mean we fought in Angola? Right? We sent advisors to a lot of places. It doesn't mean we're in those combat zones. I don't know. I'd be open to a conversation on that. Joseph says, Harris could run on the word salad party ticket. She would win that nomination in 5 seconds. She would win that nomination so fast. Nobody would even try to. So fast. 100% true. Andrea, give the membership. Thank you. Phil, thank you for the membership. Thank you. Yes, absolutely, guys. I appreciate it. If you want to become a member, please do so. There will be another membership show coming up here next month. There will be one guaranteed. We will have it. I know you guys enjoyed the last one. We'll have another one coming up. We will. I'm not sure exactly when yet. We're working on it. Me and the team have been working on it for a while. We will do it. So yes. Robin says, after watching Trump's decline, Vance couldn't help but be an improvement. That's not wrong. That's true. That's not wrong. Yes. Brona says, I hope Trump does back out and pray Vance ends the illegal, stupid fucking war. Agreed 100%. And I think it will. I think Vance will be the peacemaker. And I think he has a chance because I think he's thinking from what I'm hearing. Again, I have no insight into his campaign. I don't know anybody around him or his team. So be clear. I'm doing this from the outside looking in. Looking at what he's saying and how he's acting, he's got a chance at putting a coalition together. He does have a chance. I think he could. I do think he could. Again, not because he's that talented, because he could find the people who could do it. Right? I think it is possible. That's my that is what I believe. We'll see. So, all righty. Let's see here. You go a more of these. Let's see here. Robin says, I agree that when people walk around, the people around him walk away, Trump's ego will be crushed. He's always seen himself as godlike, and when the god loses his minions, his ego deflates. It isn't just that. I do think Trump has far too much hubris. I've been saying that for a long time. That's why I think he screwed up in Iran. Hubris is what got him. His people, as you've seen, I've said it last night, I was screaming about it. His admirals and generals were nowhere near ready for this war. They were, obviously, you can see it. His admirals and generals have completely failed him. It's not even close. They were not ready for this war. He didn't see it or didn't want to see it. He thought it was going to be Venezuela. He did not see it or didn't want to see it. Either one. Either he didn't see it or didn't want to see it, or a combination. But his admirals and generals were not ready for this war at all. They have utterly failed him. And yeah. So, but even if he wasn't, this happened, I'm sure, in your life, Liz. When people who you think care about you walk away, it hurts. It bothers you. It affects you. People fall into depressions because of this, right? You can't have that happen when you're president of the United States. So, yes, absolutely. So, Mike says, when Bush was losing in Iraq and Afghanistan, rumors of him stepping down and lack of greatness were pushed by media and Dems. Didn't happen. I don't see this either. Yeah, but I didn't see him quitting at all. I didn't see that at all. I didn't see it at all. He also wasn't 80 years old. And he also wasn't Trump. It says, Trump is the bully master. He brought bullying to politics in fine fashion in 2015. He created a huge pack of ankle biters, and he's had his ankles shoot off to his knees. He brought it on. You're not wrong in certain parts of that. What I mean by that is Trump was able to move forward because no one in, not my time at least, can I say, no mainstream politician has been able to project strength and power as well as he did. You're right. But there's a price for that. And the price is you always have to maintain that power. And if you always maintain that power, you'll be fine. Because you're right. Everyone's always nipping at your ankles. True. The second you don't have it, yeah. Andrea says, Stephen Miller will be in big trouble, but he's going to... oh my God, yes. They are going to do whatever they can. They will literally make things up. They want him like there's, you are correct, Andrea. They want Stephen Miller like there's no tomorrow. They will literally just make stuff up if need be. They'll just say he did stuff that he didn't do. They don't care. He is in so much trouble. And they do not care. You're totally correct. There's probably a Democrat right now making up a fake dossier as we speak, typing up, okay, and then he killed that guy, and then he killed the other guy. That's probably happening right now. They don't care. And they're probably getting fake witnesses. Okay, you say you saw him pull a knife out, and you say you saw him stab him. As we speak, that's probably happening. They want him. They do not care if it makes sense or not. They'll make stuff up. They'll lie. They want him. Of all the people, they really want him. So you see it as I see it. They hate him. They hate him. You are absolutely correct. Yes. So, all righty. Let's see here. I keep going down here. We keep going down here. Nosy says, I'd hate to have come in behind Trump and clean up the mess. For that, I have sympathy for JD, but I'm not really a fan. Yeah, but I think he could fix it. But yeah, I agree. If he's prepared enough, it's possible for him to take advantage of it. So maybe. Time Nelson says JD Vance is Barry 2.0. Oh, interesting. You know, I could see it. It's possible. I could see it. Possible. Maybe. Here's the difference. While that might be JD Vance's, maybe that might be his personality, maybe he won't have the same people that Obama had around him. Obama had the people around him that allowed Obama to be Obama, if that makes any sense. I don't think JD will have people around him that he could be Obama. I don't think so. I mean, a lot of things have to change. I mean, a lot. The Democrats would have to be very effective at just devastating everything, which I can't see it happening. The effectiveness the Democrats would have to have in destroying the Democratic leadership, I mean, Republican leadership, I can't imagine it. I don't see any way of it happening. I don't see any way of it happening. But I get what you're saying. Maybe his personality. I can't. No, I don't see it. I don't see it. And then look, maybe I'm wrong. I mean, I hope I'm wrong. I hope I'm not. I hope I'm right. I hope you're wrong. I hope you're wrong. Yes, I hope you're wrong. But maybe. Andrew says, okay, so all the pundits and analysts will accede that JD Vance will be the next guy if Trump leaves. That's fine. But the hard evidence that Trump will leave on his own accord is to be shown. Correct. Mike is correct in that the stories that Dems have been saying are garbage stories. They've been saying it for over a year. I've been bringing it up. Democrats, if you go to any of their punditry, online spaces, any of them, they've been saying Trump's got Alzheimer's, Trump's got a heart attack, Trump's going to be dead tomorrow. They've been saying that for a year at least, maybe 2 years. I have no idea how long it is. They've been saying it forever. So, yeah, so I don't buy that. I'm telling you that it's just time and then the failures that are going to get him because he's 80 and fading. He's just a man. That's why. And at one point, it doesn't matter what you want. At one point, you just done. That's how it works. Jones says, gifted one. Thank you for gifting membership. Phil says, what do you think about Rubo's answer to Maha? Am I supposed to know what that means? I don't know what that means. Let's see here. All right. Manatha says, I do believe Vance has a way better instincts than Don does. I agree. Or if he doesn't, he at least has a good team around him that he's listening to. I worry, is Trump listening to anybody? Or is this no one? Or is people around him just that bad? My gut says he's at a point where he listens to no one. That's what my gut says. I don't know that to be true. My gut says he's not listening. Because the way he's talking, yeah. John says, I invite people all the time. Oh, thank you. People accuse me of not being libertarian on libertarian pages. I've not seen it show up. That's all right. I don't mind. You'd be libertarian to be here. A lot of people aren't libertarian here. I don't mind at all. Yes. Andrew says, I'm talking real evidence of an imminent resignation would look like a White House originated transition plan, curb multi-source. Yeah, I don't think you'll see any of it until, my point is, you won't see it until it gets bad. Then you'll see it quickly. But no, not now. Not happening today. I'm talking, but Barnes and I are talking January. So there's months. I'm just saying he's not going to last 4 years. I'm not saying what the Democrats are saying. I'm sorry, what Democratic punditry is saying. Democratic punditry is, there's guys saying, I'm not joking. If you look, any day now, I'm not joking. That's a real thing. And they've been saying any day now for over a year. And Democrats are just like, oh, I hope it's this, I hope it's tomorrow. That's actually happening in left-wing punditry now, which is why people won't believe it, because it's been BS forever. So, yeah, I'm saying won't last 4 years. So Trump listens to BB. I think that's kind of true. So yes, somebody. There we go. All righty. Here I'm trying to go. Chat is moving fast. I just saw that. Christopher says Trump is talking about pulling U.S. base out of the Middle East. The war may be ending real soon. It's a lost cause. It is. We've already lost the war. And he's not really talking about pulling bases out of the Middle East. He's deciding that he can't rebuild them. That's the sad part. He can't rebuild them because they've been blown up. They're trashed. And he can't put them back in. Why? Why? Because our admirals and our generals had no plan for this. That's why. How long have I been explaining how bad our officer corps is? 2 years, 3 years, 4 years? When did I really figure it out? I really got it after the Russia-Ukraine war. Within a year or two. That's when I was like, oh, we are cooked. Because they were doing nothing. Nothing. Zero. Nothing. That's when I knew we were in trouble. And I've been talking trash about them for years now. And here's the proof that I was right. They had no plan, Christopher. Now, I'm going to give Trump credit for this. I can't expect Trump to know the specifics of logistics plan for the Middle East. I don't mean to be cruel. I'm being serious. That's why you have admirals and generals. You're supposed to say admirals, generals, when we do this thing, we have a way of like supplying our ships and stuff, right? And they go, yes, Mr. President, we have a plan. Do you want to see the plan? Whatever. Of course. What happens if like they bomb us? Like we have a plan for that. Oh, yes. That's what's supposed to happen. The generals was to know if they bomb us, we do this. If they don't bomb us, we do that. That's literally their fucking job. And they have failed miserably. So yeah, that's why our bases are screwed. So that part, I know people will blame Trump for that. I don't. Those generals and admirals sucked for decades. So that's not his fault. That part is not his fault. He shouldn't have been in the war. But that specific issue, it's not his fault. Now, his fault is his communication. Because when you can't supply your carrier group because your admirals have failed you and you can't supply your carrier group, you don't insult the family members. You say, yeah, we screwed up. I'm going to fix it. That's what you say. You say what JD Vance said. You talk like him. You don't go, shit, whatever. I'm not going to apologize. You don't do that stupid shit. That's terrible. And that's what Trump did. And that's bad communication. Don't do that. That will be a mistake. Be like, in that case, be like JD. That's what I would say. So anyway, that makes sense. All right. John says, not the best response, but context matters. President Trump was responding to a question asked if he would end the war if X got too high. So the answer was does not matter. Doesn't matter. You have to know that. He's been president and in the public eye for 12 years, president for 6, in the public eye for more. You got to know that by now. You have to know that. Yeah. And then if that's the case, then you respond to it. Then when they come back at you again, you clarify. So now at least your people can now clarify. So if someone takes me out of context and says whatever, right? At least I have to clarify here to you guys, here's what I meant, here's what I said, out of context. He didn't do that. So even if that's wrong, he still screwed up on communication. Or if he can't do it, send your person out to do it. Send someone out to say it. Send JD to say this, right? Whatever. Send someone to say it. There's ways that you have to deal with this. That's my issue. And yeah, even if you're right, doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. So yes. All righty. I grabbed that piece. John says full prices only matter to me when I am on the family farm. Tesla early adopters, so I do not even pay to use Tesla. Oh, nice. Haven't paid to fuel my personal car in 11 years. Oh, good for you. Nicely done, brother. I love that. Good for you. I love that answer. All righty. Okay. Let's see if I can go on that road. Christopher says, I'm a Republican. I like to hear things I may not have thought of or of truth is more important. I'm glad. I'm glad. Look, I have given good advice for both Democrats and Republicans. I just give advice out. I tell you what I think will make things work. Most of the time, Republicans in general in this state for sure, and I mean Republican leadership, Republicans in this state have such a hatred for me that they will not listen to me. Even when I tell them things that will work for them, they will not listen. Not just that. Republicans in my state don't want to win, so they won't listen to me. They don't want to win. Now, Republican voters often go, Larry, that makes sense. Why aren't they listening to you? Why aren't you doing what you say? Because they don't want to win and they hate me. That's the reason why. There are more Democrats that listen to me than Republicans. That's true. More Democrats listen to me than Republicans. This is true. That's their fault, not mine. That's their fault, not mine. So, yes. All righty. Where was I? We covered that piece. Bruno says, this is a big problem, Larry. The right has been dismissing the youth since the days of Vietnam. It's bad. And to win them over by asking what they need and want. That's not 100% true. There were many parts where the Republican Party opened the door to the youth. And I think Reagan was one of them. And I think Trump was too. Trump brought a lot of young people in. He did. Many of them were former Bernie bros, but he brought a lot of young people in. Maybe the party as a whole, true. The group as a whole, maybe yes. But the other thing to remember is most people, when they're younger, tend to be more idealistic and more left-leaning. As they get older, they tend to be more right-leaning, generally speaking. So I think it makes sense for the right in general also. What's that old saying? If you're young and not a liberal, you don't have a heart. And if you're old and not a conservative, you don't have a brain. That old saying, right? And while that's obviously just a saying, there's some concept that may be true to this. But I think some people have. I think Reagan did a good job of bringing in the youth, and I think so did Trump. And funny, they're both older, but they brought in the youth. So Trump's lost a lot of them, sadly. He's lost a lot of the youth. That is true. So anyway, all right, I think we covered that piece. Christopher says, a lot of people vote based on herd mentality. It's true. Absolutely. Lori says, from a newbie, are we against Trump or just opinions? Some people love Trump here. Some people hate him. And you can see from the opinions, some people hate him. I don't love or hate him. I think he's screwing up badly now. And look, if you would have heard me in 2024 and early 2025, most of my comments, if you go back and look, most of my comments were praising him. Most of them were. If you look, when I thought he made a mistake, but most of my comments for Trump in 2024 and 2025 were praising him. I think he was killing it back then. I think he was. I was surprised on how bad his communication happened in 2025. And I started complaining about Trump in 2025 when I watched how bad his communication was becoming. I'm like, what are you talking about? Nothing you're saying is going to help you in the long run. It's all going to come back to bite you. And for those of you who watched me then, I said this would all come back to bite him because the communication was just, I don't know what he was thinking. I don't know who was telling him what to say. And it has. So, and my biggest attacks on him are his communication because it has been terrible. Just terrible. So, yes. Mike said, you took my comments out of order. Wrong answers about Iran. And people want entitlement and cake doesn't mean they should get it. Yes, it doesn't mean you should insult them for it, though. Right? And I'll give you the example, Mike. If I have a son and I never make him pay rent, I never make him get a job, I never make him go to school, I pay for everything for him until he's 30 years old. I never make him get a job. I tell him how awesome he is. I tell him how amazing he is. And I pay for everything. And I never push him for anything. He just sits around playing video games. I cook for him every day. I do that. And then at 31 years old, I go, time to get out. Now, logically, he's an adult. Logically, he should have prepared himself for that day. and anyone said that, you'd be right. He logically should have. But there's a whole lot of people going to blame me for that. They're going to say, well, you were a shitty dad. What's wrong with you? You got to help him out now. Now, people logically go, no, Larry, you have no responsibility. But if I throw him out, people are going to be fucking pissed off at me. And if I want to get voted on, they're not going to vote for me. They're going to blame me for that. They're going to say, why did you raise him so poorly? Why did you support him all those 30 years? They're going to blame me. So you can say, well, Larry, he's an adult. He should know. Should, so what? His entitlement, I made. And whatever your feeling might be on whether he should or shouldn't, people are going to blame me. Well, they're wrong. They vote. Those says they all vote for either who they like or who they think is going to win. True. Very true. Absolutely. So, Vance got groups. Oh, he got some of the groupers. He does have some of them. He does. You're not wrong. He's got some. We'll see how many, but he's got some. Yes. John says, very interested. I disagree with Larry. Mike is right. Socialism is so popular in our country, especially with the youth, because our schools have been indoctrinating our children for 40 years. Yeah, I didn't say you guys were wrong. Maybe I'm not maybe my communication's failing. I'm not saying you're wrong. I'm saying it doesn't matter. I'm not even saying Mike's wrong to Middle East. I'm saying it doesn't matter. There is the difference. I'm not saying you're wrong. I'm saying it doesn't matter. And you saying, well, it's because this. Great. How are you going to get into power and change it? By yelling at people? No. The people who love socialism are the people who have to vote for you so you can get them off of socialism. There's not enough Republicans in this country to make it happen. They just don't exist. Same as in New York State, across the country. Remember, most people across the country are actually no party affiliate or independent. So winning a Republican primary doesn't mean anything if you can't win the popular vote or at least electoral votes. I hope maybe I wasn't being clear enough. I'm trying to make that clear. I'm not saying you or Mike are wrong. I'm saying it doesn't matter in politics. If you're writing a book, awesome. If you're doing a podcast and debating, awesome. You guys will win that debate or write a nice book. But you're not going to win an election. And that's what I'm talking about. You're not going to win an election. If yelling at people and calling names win an election, calling people names, Trump wouldn't have been president. They called him every name. They called him all the names. Still president twice. So it doesn't work. So I don't know if that's clearer or not. Maybe it isn't. Maybe I'm still screwing this up. I'm trying to make it clear. I'm trying to. Maybe I'm not. Maybe my communication is failing. I need to call JD Vance and have him talk for me instead. Maybe that's it. Andrew says the Palantir Panderer. They're going to forget that. Again, you're not wrong. They're going to forget that. You're right. They're going to forget it. I'm like, well, whatever. That's what's going to happen. So, yeah. All righty. Let's see here. I'm going to grab some more of these. Phil, 100 reps down. Phil, keep going, brother. Don't stop. You are killing it. I love it. So, Phil says, Rubio's wife made fun of me. Oh, I remember that. That's what you meant. Okay. Now I get it. Yes. Look, Rubio's smart. He's no dummy. Rubio knows Maha is a very important part of the coalition and Trump hasn't lost yet. The way he's pushed RFK into certain things, some of the Maha people aren't as happy as they were. True, but he has not lost them yet. They are not yet. So Rubio knows, I don't care about your Pop-Tarts. I'm going to be nice anyway. That's important. Savvy, keep the Maha people happy. RFK is getting some wins from Maha. If you're not Maha, you probably don't care. But if you're Maha, he's got some wins, right? And that elector and that group is a group of people that Republicans need. Democrats are trying to jump on the Maha train if they can. They are. They're trying to grab a little bit if they can. Now, Democratic voters, many of them are iffy. Who knows? But any of the candidates who can, they're trying to get Maha if they can. Democratic leadership hates RFK Jr. He's a traitor. They hate him. But if they can get some Maha votes, they might change their mind. It's a smart move that he does that. I know why wife's teasing him. If my wife teased me that way in public like that, We have some words that night. That's all I'm telling you. We'd have some words that night. Unless it was like a planned joke or something, then in front of us not, we would have some words that night. And she might not be on TV again. You think I'm joking? I'm not joking. If you're going to be the spouse of someone who's powerful, wife or husband, you cannot diss that person in public. You cannot. Unless it's planned joke. You just can't. If my wife is some heavy hitter doing some heavy thing and I'm with her, I am on her arm that night. I'm on her arm in front of the press. I'm on her arm. She's amazing and awesome. That's what she is. I got a problem with her. I deal with that behind closed doors. Right? If I got a problem with my spouse, I deal with that behind closed doors. I don't put that shit out front. What are you, crazy? Your husband's Secretary of State. What's wrong with you? Right? You ever see Stedman, and he's not even married, diss Oprah in front of her? He ain't doing that. That's Oprah. He might do it behind closed doors. I don't know what they do behind closed doors. Who knows? But he ain't doing that in front of her. No way. Terrible idea. You don't diss your spouse, particularly when they're a powerful person in public. You deal with that stuff behind closed doors. So Joseph says, U.S. Officer Corps has become a Soviet. Yes. Oh, that's so good. Joseph, I'm going to steal that. That is very good. Yes, that is very good. They have become Soviet. I hadn't thought of it that way. But yeah, they're worried about just the system. They don't care about winning wars. We can't win any war anymore. Who cares? We don't even care. They care about the system and the system only. Very true. I like that. That's great. Joseph goes on to say New York Republicans are grifters, like New York Democrats. Yes, however, the Democrats are actually getting stuff done for their own stuff, right? They're getting other stuff done. But yeah, they're all grifting. The problem is once you have a single party state, like the Soviet Union, a single party state, you get the Soviet outcome. Absolutely. Goes on to say JD will win on the flock camera party ticket. This is funny. Flock cameras are a big deal. If JD jumps on that right, if he jumps on the right side of that, I think he's waiting to see if Palantir collapses in that regard, then maybe he'll jump on that side. It's a smart move. I would wait too if I were him. I think it's a smart move. I'd wait also. So, yeah. All right. D says, plus in Jax, we just had a city council seat that's been red for a while, just flipped blue. Yes, it's a problem. Yes. Brona says, if Trump bows out and Vance gets a year or more, it can only help Republicans. And Republicans are already bad. I agree. Look, for Democrats, if I'm a Democrat now, the last thing I want is Trump to go away. The last thing. I joked, if you remember, in 2024, I joked. I said, Democrats love Trump running. They love it. I said, if Trump was like having a heart problem, a kidney problem, there'd be a Democrat down there going, take my kidney, keep this guy alive. Democrats love Trump being in charge. I'm sorry. Democratic leadership. I have to be clear on this again. I screw this up sometimes. Leadership. They love Trump being in charge. They raise money off it. They can just blame him for everything. They blame again, they would have gone to war too. They blame him for the war. Their propaganda is amazing. It's always Trump did everything. They love him being in charge. The leadership does. The average Democrats hates Trump, but the leadership loves him. You're totally correct. If Trump actually bows out, it will only help Republicans. I completely agree. Because more Democrats will be able to come back to the Republican Party. Right now, there are so many Democrats who just can't vote. The TDS is strong. Trump goes away. They'll try to tie Vance to it. Everyone will, but Vance isn't Trump. So as much as Democrats, of course, will go out of their way to tie every single Republican ever for the next 30 years to Trump. They will try to. Of course they will. It's how they raise money. They don't have to have policies. Of course they'll do that. The issue is these people aren't Trump. It's not going to work as well. Unless someone is jumping and talking the Trump stuff, whatever, they might. But if someone doesn't do that, it won't work. I'm sorry. Early on it will, because the TDS will go away slowly. So early on they'll raise money. The second they stop raising money off of it is when they'll forget about Trump. Because they don't really care about Trump. They care about raising money. The second that money raising part goes away, they'll forget about Trump. That's how it'll work. So, yeah. All right. Where am I here? Gracie says, yes, I feel entitled to live in a country without socialists. That's why I want independent coalitions and a Jew to get a head out of his ass. You're reading my mind. It's why I'm so upset. Mrs. I love me some Vance. I can't help it. I just feel like he's trying to get it a little. Yeah, look, Vance is not a bad looking guy. He's also young. Was he 42? Is that right? 40 something. He's 40 something. So yeah, he's not a bad looking guy. I agree. He's not as hot for most people as Newsom, but being good looking counts. Being better looking does count. He's much better with the beard. Drop a couple pounds. He did not look great when he was heavy without the beard. Did not look good. He's much better now. I agree. He's done a little. He's had a little bit of a glow up. Good for him. Glad he had it. But look, AOC looks good. People like that. I agree. Nothing wrong with that. So, all righty. John says it isn't that bringing back an industrial base was not talked about by President Trump and his people. The mainstream media ignored. They talked about it 1980s and about it. No. This is the problem. Go back. Same thing, John. That's not what he said. Trump said golden age tomorrow. I mean, I'm exaggerating, but right away. Trump said it was going to happen now. He said you'll see it this year. His people came out and said you'll see it, first quarter of 2026. They talked all that garbage. That's the problem. Mike isn't wrong in what he was trying to achieve. Mike's correct. But he didn't say that. Vance just said it now. Trump was not saying that. His people were not saying that. To give Mike credit, Mike was saying that, but no one was listening on the show. I joked and I said Trump should have hired Mike to explain. He should. I'm not making up. Trump should have just, hey, Mike, here's a couple grand. Can you do me a favor? Pop out a press release for us. He'd have done it. Mike would have happily done it. Wouldn't have thought twice. He'd have happily done it. He'd have had it done in a day. Mike would have done it happily, would have done it in a day, had a press release for him. Could have done it. Didn't ask anyone to say that. And most of the pundits weren't saying either. The right-leaning pundits, most of them were doing the same talking points he was saying and the same talking points his people were saying. It was like, oh, tomorrow. It was never going to happen tomorrow. And this goes back to expectations. That's the issue. Little Frog says, to this day, I still have no idea what the Trump administration's goal of the Iran war was. What was the exit plan? Most people don't know. That's the problem. That's the problem. You're not wrong. Most people don't know. True. Absolutely. All righty. And that's the problem. All right. We grabbed that one already. Okay. Robin says, Larry, I'm only 9 years older than you, so I'm safe. Yeah, so you'll never be old. See? If you're 9 years older than me or less, you will never be old. That's how that works, because I move. That's how it works. So yes. All righty. Andrew says, I was right. Told you I'd hit 40 trillion later this year. I know it's terrible. Yes. Andrea says, Larry, you are less than 10 years older than me, so you're not old. I love it. We're good. None of us are old. This is amazing. None of us are old. I love it. All good. So I love it. All righty. I did that. Okay. Where was I? I grabbed that one. Mike says, chat needs to keep record of our bets. It's true. They have to. I think we only have two, right? I think we have two. It's the election and then Trump not lasting 4 years. I think that's the only two we have, but we'll see. Yeah, that's it. I love it. All right. 40 trillion. We covered that one already. I'm trying to catch up, guys. I know I'm behind. I'm trying to catch up. Yeah, I know I'm behind. All right. Mike says, the real question for the Dems is the VP. It must be a woman and preferably LGBT and of color. So AOC is not in the right mix, especially after Munich embarrassment. I don't think they have to. So, and let me explain why I don't think that they have to have it. Would they prefer it? Yes. I don't think required. I think what they'll probably try to do is see who raises money or who is polling well enough in the primary, right? Who fits in the primary. I think people who will be selected will be someone who's in the primary. That's my gut. And I think AOC might run in the primary maybe to be the VP. She will raise money. She is a money-raising powerhouse compared to many of them. And she also has different donors because she has a lot of Bernie donors. So she has an advantage. And she is a woman of color, which helps. And she also did the egg freezing, which helps, right, to connect to other women who've been through that. It helps. I could see them making an exception for her. I do not know, right? They do that. Because the other problem is, do you do a Buttigieg who hits the LGB, but doesn't hit the woman or the color? So I don't know if you do with that one. Now, if he's the nominee, then that takes care of the LGBT and they're good. Now it's just she fits perfectly. She's a woman of color. So I'm not sure that works. Like, it depends upon who the actual nominee is. If it is Newsom, which I think that's still a chance it could be Newsom. If it's Newsom, I think Newsom picking AOC, left and right, meaning left coast, right coast, not a bad deal. Not a bad deal. San Fran in New York, not a bad deal. So I could see that. I could see it. So, all righty. Grab some more of these if I can. All right. We covered that one already. John says Harris cannot complete a sentence and cannot get through a speech without breaking into a cackle. She's a terrible candidate. Just a terrible candidate. Rich says it. Harris was the worst. She's a terrible candidate. It's not because she was a woman. She was just a terrible candidate. Just a terrible candidate. There's no doubt. So, yeah. She's a bumbling moron. Yes, she's a terrible candidate. It's not because she was a woman. She's a terrible candidate. Yes. Phil says, yes, we are fighting in Angola. So you think we were fighting in Angola? You know what? Maybe then if you go that route, then I would say that Ike put us into Vietnam. Phil says, advisors give us exposure. So yes, true. But I don't think we're, and the reason why I say this, for those who don't know, I was thinking about getting out of the Marine Corps in 1988 is when I was considering getting out of the Marine Corps. And we were fighting in Angola then. I was considering going over there as mercenary because that's what I do as Marine. So I was thinking about going over there and training mercenaries. Now, we were over there in advisory and mercenary, which I was going to become one of them. So that's how I know. That's why I mentioned Angola, because I know that. I'm not sure. If you would count that, then I would say I would do that then. Otherwise, I don't know. Rona says, you're correct, Larry. I've said non-combat advisors. There we go. Kennedy sent advisors who trained with South Vietnamese and fought alongside. That is my line. I'm with Braun on this. That's my line, Phil. My line is, are we just training advisors or are we actually fighting? The people when Ike sent, they were not fighting. That I know of in Angola, the only people who fought in Angola weren't our advisors, they were mercenaries. They were Americans, yes, but they were American mercenaries, not sent by, not officially government sanctioned. They were just mercs. That's what I remember. And I could be wrong on that, but that's where my head is. I'm pretty sure that's true. But anyway, if I'm wrong, you guys can correct me if I'm wrong. But I'm pretty sure that's right. So, all righty. Let's see. Christopher says, I'm glad Vance is making an impression now in Trump's late term, but then trying to ramp it up out of nowhere if he decides to do a 2028 run. Yeah, I think that's true. I think that's true. Yep. All right. That covered that one. We covered that one. Kajon says, Larry and the Sharpies. Cute. That's the next song. Did you hear that? You hear that, Phil? The next song? Phil says, Larry is the king of Queens. Not true. Wish it was. That'd be nice. But yeah. D says, next week is going to be a short week for live streams. Monday will be a Gov Shack on Larry Sharpe and an AMA on Saturday. There'll be some old stream. Premieres a couple next week to hold us over. Thursday, 6. I don't know what that means, but yes. But yes, I will be away. I will be traveling a bunch of next week. That is true. I'll be traveling a bunch of next week. So we'll see how that works. Okay. Let's see. Christopher said, Reagan said, just say no. Actually, Mrs. Reagan said, just say no. And that did not work. Bruno says, Reagan lost youth with just say no. I think Mrs. Reagan did, but I think what Reagan did was a similar thing. Into when conservatives bring in the youth, when they do, they bring in the youth usually through men. That's how they started, through young men, when they give them purpose. That's what the right does far better than the left. The left's very good at organizing, getting people to show up at a certain time. They're very good at that. They're better than the right at that. The right is good at making young men feel like they have purpose. Sometimes that's war, sadly. But that could be fighting the drug war, or it could be whatever, joining the police force, right? Whatever, give them something. Charlie Kirk, I think, made them think they had to be family men, right? Which gave them that. Trump gave them the MAGA hats, and they're all going to be businessmen. We're all going to be young businessmen making money in business. I think the right does a better job of motivating young men to have purpose, and left does a better job of organizing people in general to show up and do those type of things. I think that happens often. No, says it. Many of the youth left Trump after Charlie Kirk. Yeah, they saw Charlie Kirk as one of them. Perfect example of that. Charlie Kirk was good at getting men to feel like you have a purpose, and young men want that. Generally speaking, the right is better at that than the left is. The left is not as good at that. I mean, sometimes left does come up with things, don't get me wrong, and the right screws up things too, of course. I'm talking in general. So yes. Notice says, yes, Larry, I blame you. You did not prepare him for real life. My point. Yes. I think a lot of people would. Yes. Now, I left when I was 17. If I had done that, what a terrible parent. What a terrible parent. Mike said, yes, that wasn't clear. Okay, good. I'm glad I cleared it up at least. I'm glad I cleared it up. That's what I was saying. I'm glad I cleared it. Took me a while to get there, but I got there, Mike. Took me some time. So yes. All right. Job says, my parents kicked me out at 18. I don't take care of myself. Yeah, but the odds are, Joseph, I don't know this, but the odds are if your parents kicked you out at 18, you probably had an idea that was going to happen. Like your parents probably didn't say, Joseph, don't worry. Don't get a job. Here's everything. Stay here. We'll give you everything. Probably didn't. Sadly, there are parents who do that. There are parents who are like, you can never leave. I got you. There are parents who baby their children into their 30s and wonder why they never grow up. That does happen. I'm assuming your parents did not do that. That you kind of had a clue was going to happen. So yes. Boris, I left home at 16 the first time. I was 17. I fell on my ass a few times, went back home, but every time I picked myself up and just did adulthood, as we should. Here's the problem. You guys both said that. I said it, right? I know Mike joined when he was younger, right? Most of the people of our age group, that's what we did. It was expected. Is it expected of this group? People do respond to their peer groups. They do. If the peer group is, hey, your parent is evil if your parent doesn't keep you at home while you go to college. Your parents are bad if they won't pay your rent until you have a full-time job or whatever. I'm making this up, right? But if that's how it is, yeah. I look at my daughters. They are very much ahead of their peer group in many ways. So yeah, they're very different. That would be my assumption. Yes. All right. John says, Larry, communication is good. Vance gave our political answer, not the truthful answer. Yep. Nosy says, RFK isn't the traitor, the Democrats are the traitors. Agreed. Most Maha people believe that. Yes. Absolutely. D says Larry's going to steal it and not give Joseph credit. Probably not. I might, but probably not. So yeah. All righty. Let's see here. Okay. Brona says, D, there's a movement talking about deflocking on Halloween night. That'd be cool to see. Nice. Clown Walk 2.0. I like that. That's not bad. Yes. I think it's zombie, I think. Nothing can help Republicans. I disagree. This could. Absolutely. Right now, they're in trouble. You can see it. They're in trouble now. But could Trump stepping down and Vance communicating better and reaching out to pissed off Democrats, I think it can help them. Not for this year, if I don't know if that's your issue. This year, I think nothing can. I think they've blown it. This was the last possible month, in my view, for them to end this war, bring everybody home, declare victory, have parade, and move on. I don't see it. I don't see it. Yeah, I think for this year, you're correct. But for the future, of course, Republicans can come back. Of course they can. I mean, Democrats came back from getting their ass kicked in the past. Republicans can too. Of course they can. So yes. I'm going to say it's hard to fully trust that RFK is in compromise. This part I hear all the time, and I worry also. You're not wrong. You're not wrong. The issue is, if you are a Maha person, are you satisfied enough? And that's an individual piece that he's given you enough. Are you satisfied enough or not? And I would argue that I think now most Maha people are like, I'll take it. Because without it, I got nothing. And I'll take what I can get. That's what I think most Maha people are thinking now. Not all. Some have turned on him. Some have been like, he's compromised and they're out. But I think most are like, nah, it's fine. Ronna, thank you, Larry. He's made my point about Vance. If he announces flock, he wins. But I think he's holding on. I think you're right. I think he's holding on now. He's waiting to see. I think he's waiting to see. He's like, let's see what happens. Do I want to walk down that road or not? That's where I think he is now. That's my gut. So that's what I think is going to happen. That's my gut. All righty. Mike says, join at 18. There we go. Terry says, graduated from high school and went to college at 15. Never went back home. Wasn't a great idea, though. Oh, okay. There we go. Mass when I was a traveling salesman between Wisconsin and Florida at 17. A lot of us were out doing stuff. But is it now? I'm not sure people do that now. Most don't. You know? DJ says, Kirk could only inspire a certain number of you by person, though, speaking as a young person. Type of, I think young person, though. Generally speaking, people, more right-leaning people, right? If you're a right-leaning icon, whatever the case may be, I do think that you will find him, I do think you'll find him move more right-leaning people. It's just normal, right? Will some left-leaning people who are searching go to a Charlie Kirk? Some will, but it's a very small percentage, right? Most of the men who are going to go towards that will be more right-leaning men because Charlie Kirk was obviously conservative, obviously right-leaning. So you're going to have people naturally, right? So you're not wrong. But again, there are lots of young right-leaning men. In fact, now, currently in America, a lot more right-leaning men than there's been in a long time. Young men, a lot more than a long time. A lot more men are going right, a lot more women are going left than there has been. And there's always been a little bit of a shift, but now it's bigger than most. So yeah, Christopher says, I chose to leave home at 18. I wanted freedom. Resulted in a hard life, and I'm better off for it. There we go. Yes. There we go. A lot of people doing that. I completely agree. So yes. All right. I think we covered all that piece. All righty. I think we covered all that. I appreciate it. I grabbed as many as I possibly could. Guys, I appreciate it. Guys, I'm asking one more time, if you would, click the button known as like Lima, India, Kilo, Echo. Please click that button. It does matter. I ask all the time because it does matter. So yes. All right, let me grab over to Instagram. Gibson says, you hear basketball player Royce Weiss has declared he's running for president in 2028. I don't doubt that, but Royce is really looking for attention more than anything else. So him doing that is probably an attention push. Now, he does have some time to become a more serious candidate, and maybe he will. And if he does, he'd probably do it so he can get a cabinet post someplace or a position. I doubt he thinks that he will actually become president. But people don't always run for president to become president. They run for other things. I could see him running for something else. He's got good charisma, and he can probably raise money, I would assume, being a former basketball player, probably raise money. So he can make, he can get a couple percentage points in a Republican primary, just enough to be like, oh, that guy, you know what? We'll make him Secretary of Athletics or whatever that is. I made that up. So yes. He goes on to say, I wanted to ask, when are you going to court? And we're not there yet. Still working on it, my friend. I appreciate that. And lastly, I think you would make a great press secretary for the White House because you have a very powerful voice. Oh, thank you. Well, let's hope that if in 2028, if I'm not governor of New York, which I hope I will be, but assuming that I won't be, let's hope that whoever's running independent decides they want me as a press secretary. Are you listening, independents? Then maybe I will. So I hope you're right, Gibson. I hope that's what happens. That would be amazing. I hope it will be amazing. So, yes. Mike says, at lol, Roy Royce and Steve Smith, my God, the end of America. Well, again, I don't think Steve Smith is going to win, but I think he is popular enough and savvy enough to make impact. I think Royce White, if Carter raised enough money to where he can get someplace, I don't think either of them would actually win the election. But presidential election. I could see Stephen A. Smith winning a local election. I could see him winning like mayor. I don't know where he lives, whatever he lives, mayor of his town or city. I could see that. That's possible. I could see Stephen A. Smith winning like a assembly or state senate. I could definitely see that. He has enough celebrity to do that. I could see that. Him winning presidency, I could see him doing well enough to where someone puts him in a cabinet somewhere. That I could see. He could do well enough to be noticed. I think that's true. He could do that. Could he win a nomination? That's a stretch. I don't think Royce White could win a nomination. Not now for sure. Could he make enough impact to get someplace? Maybe. These are people who could make impact someplace. They have enough charisma to make impact someplace. Depends what they're trying to achieve. That's what I would see. So D says, would love to see Larry Skolda meet at the podium as president. So would I. So would I. Perhaps one day we'll be able to watch that. Until then, please share this if you have not done so already. You can support the show by heading over to Linktree/The Sharpe Way. I would appreciate it. Now, please comment after the live. Do you think, very simple question, do you think President Trump will finish his 4-year term? That's all I'm asking. Do you think President Trump will finish his 4-year term? Or do you think sometime between now and the end of this term, JD Vance will be president of the United States? You know what I think. What do you think? I will see you all